Hello, I'm Ben Limmer, Bureau Chief for Public Transportation at the Connecticut Department of Transportation, and I'd like to welcome you to Along the Lines, a podcast series where we'll share exciting news and updates and explore current issues and ideas on Connecticut's public transportation system. Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Along the Lines. I'm your host, Ben Limmer. Now, I've had the honor of being Bureau Chief of Transit for the Connecticut DOT for almost a year now, and it's been a heck of a year. First of all, this year, the best way I could describe it is a year of transformation. I mean, obviously, a year of transformation for me as I took upon this wonderful opportunity to lead public transportation for the state, but also it's been a year of transformation for public transportation throughout Connecticut as well. First and foremost, of course, there's been a huge transformation within the four walls of the DOT with regards to a culture that's hyper-focused on the future. Second of all, there's been a focus on transforming these services that we provide our customers, and I will go into detail about those within this podcast, but also the huge capital program that we have undertaken here at the DOT to do everything from provide new services to our customers to speed up trains along the New Haven line and modernize the services that we do provide. And then thirdly, of course, is just building a culture of excellence throughout the Bureau to ensure that we are meeting the needs of customers each and every day. So we have accomplished quite a bit in 2023, and I'd like to share with you, just highlight some of the major accomplishments, both large and small, that we have accomplished this year. So first of all, there's the Customer Experience Action Plan. We completed that early this year. It's really a plan that is not one that's going to sit on the shelf. It is a action plan with a set of projects that we heard directly from customers on what they were looking for with regards to public transportation services. So we are feverishly working on implementing as many of those projects as quickly as possible. Many of those will be launched in 2024 and will certainly be the subject of a future podcast. But the Customer Experience Action Plan was the proud winner of a national award called the AdWheel Grand Marketing Award through the American Public Transportation Association. And it was also the Women's Transportation Seminar Connecticut Project of the Year. That happened in February, and these were delightful bonuses. While these were nice accolades to receive, our primary focus has been on improving services to ensure more equitable and sustainable Connecticut in the future. Looking at March, we proudly announced the receipt of a grant from the US DOT to really facilitate the creation of a new comprehensive statewide public transportation information system that will basically allow you to use your phone to make payments for fares, to also plan your trip, receive real-time information, and the like. So that was a very welcome grant, and we will be working on the development and implementation of that next year. In April, we introduced a new token transit app, enabling our CT Transit, CT Fast Track customers to conveniently purchase these 2-hour passes using their smartphones. This was a pilot program, so we did expand that to include a 31-day pass, a 10-ride pass, as well as an all-day pass. Remarkably so, in the first 8 months, over 45,000 unique users use their smartphones to acquire these passes. And we are very much looking forward to the future with regards to token transit as well. In May, we had 3 huge wins. These were in no particular order, but one of those was we hosted a public forum to gather input on the Stanford Transportation Center master plan. We see, since the Stanford rail station is the busiest one in the state, it plays a critical role in the future of rail transportation throughout Connecticut. And so much so that we embarked on a year-long planning study to envision what the future is going to be of the station itself, as well as the surrounding facilities. So the master plan, we hosted a public input session in May to gather the necessary feedback in order to have the customers and stakeholders help us envision what the future station should be. We also launched the long anticipated construction of the Norwalk River Railroad Bridge along the New Haven line. The original bridge was actually constructed in 1896. So this overdue replacement marks a huge milestone in our overall efforts to modernize the infrastructure along the New Haven rail line. Then lastly, we also did the 2023 CT Rides Drive Less Climate Challenge. We held that between April 22nd and May 31st. Not to be outdone, as we continue throughout the calendar year, June brought more great news. On June 5th, we added, working with our partners at Amtrak, as well as the Massachusetts DOT, launched 2 new Northeast regional trains on the Hartford line that provided direct access to New York City's Penn Station. This was absolutely huge, as these trains allowed passengers to go from Springfield and Hartford directly into Penn Station in less than 3 hours using one seat. Yours truly has even utilized those trains multiple times already, and I'm looking forward to more rides in 2024. We also in June secured a substantial $26 million grant to acquire 20 new battery electric buses that we are going to utilize throughout the CT transit system, primarily in Stanford, as we continue on our commitment to be carbon free with state transit vehicles by 2035. And of course, wrapping up June, we were awarded an additional federal grant of $25 million to help develop the bus rapid transit line. It's called Move New Haven, within the city of New Haven. And there we are looking to develop premier bus service with 18 new stops, 4 transit mini hubs. And of course, we will be utilizing 15 brand new battery electric buses to provide that service as well. That was really just half the year. In July, we returned to service our original set of battery electric buses. As you all know, as listeners, these buses are absolutely vital to help reduce our carbon footprint throughout the state. And of course, they are quieter, smoother ride, and they have a lower overall maintenance cost than the traditional diesel buses. In August, we also announced a purchase of 60 brand new rail cars to be utilized on the Hartford line, as well as some of the branch lines. These new rail cars really marked a generational investment, will change the way that people travel via rail transportation throughout the state. Then in September, we launched 2 pivotal studies that were really targeted at enhancing our rail system. One of which was a feasibility study to look at the electrification potential of the Hartford line, the Danbury branch line, as well as the Waterbury line. This study is absolutely instrumental in guiding the next steps on how we implement electric rail service throughout the state. Concurrently to these efforts, though, we also conducted a series of public information meetings for the Eastern Connecticut Corridor Rail Study. This is a study of extending the Shoreline East service further east to Westerly, Rhode Island, and really establishing a new passenger rail link between New London and Norwich, and looking at new railroad stations in Groton and Stonington as well. That study did include an evaluation of bus services throughout southeastern Connecticut. Both of these studies can be found on our website and also illustrate the state's full commitment to improvement of our rail system in the future. Looking to September, we introduced the CT Pass program. The CT Pass program is a program developed to support workplace development by increasing access to Connecticut's bus transportation system. We also launched construction on track improvements throughout the summer on the new Canaan branch. We completed those in September. And these track improvements, although can be challenging within the moment, longer term provides much quicker access along the New Canaan branch as it connects to the New Haven line and, of course, onward to New York City. In October, we hosted a public informational meeting to discuss the proposed rail station in Enfield along the Hartford line. We are very much looking forward to construction commencing as soon as possible. Right now, the schedule calls for construction to start in the spring of 2025. So very much looking forward to that added connection along the Hartford line for the town of Enfield as well as the surrounding areas. As we transition to November, the DOT partnered with CT Transit as well as local transit districts throughout the state to start the implementation of the bus service expansion package that was passed by Governor Lamont's office in cooperation with the Connecticut State Legislature. In early November, bus services in Meriden were the first ones to implement their expansion of service, and we worked with them to extend the bus services to operate 7 days a week with additional service concentrated during weeknights as well as Saturday nights. This was especially noteworthy because it was part of this broader effort to enhance the overall CT Transit bus services throughout central Connecticut, really focused on optimizing local and express routes to improve efficiency and bolster connections between the Hartford line and bus transportation. Also in November was huge news. The DOT received just shy of $2 billion from the Federal Railroad Administration to invest in the Northeast Corridor. As you all know, the Northeast Corridor connects Boston with Washington, D.C. and runs along the shoreline as well as the New Haven line within the state of Connecticut. The $2 billion is going to be absolutely critical investment that will really fortify our railroad infrastructure throughout the state and, of course, enhance the overall customer experience along our rail system. And then to close out the year, the DOT recently announced a selection of 9 transit districts and communities that are going to take part in a new local bus service option. It's called microtransit. It is a pilot program. Microtransit is absolutely vital. What it does is it really focuses on filling in gaps within both bus and rail service to communities that might not have been historically served by public transportation or underserved by public transportation. We're really exploring this subject in greater detail using this pilot project, and we will certainly have a podcast on it in 2024. I'd like to take a moment to reflect, but also thank you. Thank you for listening to the Along the Lines podcast. I'd like to also thank you for joining me as we reflected on all of our achievements in 2023. I fully recognize, as well as the team here at the DOT, we have a lot of great work in front of us in 2024 to bring more services and more capital projects to fruition. It's going to be another year of transformation. It is important to know that our public transportation system throughout Connecticut serves over 43 million passenger trips on bus as well as paratransit services throughout the state. But on top of that, serves more than 41 million annual passenger trips throughout the rail system. So all in all, nearly 85 million passengers that we provide services to on an annual basis certainly makes this one of the largest transportation systems in the entire country. However, we also know there's ample opportunity for further growth in our systems to help reduce the state's overall carbon footprint, enhance air quality for all, foster economic vitality, and consistently elevate Connecticut's appeal for both residents, businesses, and visitors. While 2023 was filled with excitement, I know I am eagerly anticipating the privilege of serving you in 2024 and beyond as your Bureau Chief of Public Transportation. And with that, I'd like to take a minute to wish you and your families a very happy and healthy holiday season and Happy New Year. I'm Ben Limmer. Join us next time on another episode of Along the Lines. Thanks for listening to this episode of Along the Lines. This is your host, Benjamin Limmer. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please remember to subscribe and share.